So, pay attention. This is exactly how to start a consulting slash coaching company and how to scale it to 50 to 100K per month in 12 to 24 months. Now, if you decide to use leverage on your business, use it on as many parts of your business as physically possible. You will always fall to the level of your systems. A good offer makes you 500,000 a year, marketing 300,000 a year, sales 1 million a year, and so on and so forth. Dial in because there is an endless amount of money that you can make with systems. Don't let the weakest part of your business stop you from scaling. Leverage allowed me to get to multiple clients to 12x their revenue while still having 85 to 90% profit margins. But the idea of keeping 100% of your profit is absolutely ridiculous and it's greedy. Without leverage, you won't achieve true freedom in your life. You can achieve freedom only through automation, delegation, and team. Stop working in your business and start working on your business. Now, this is the 7-figure focus. A 6-figure hustler who's surviving, does client fulfillment, builds a team, does the marketing, does the sales, whereas a thriving influence and freedom 7-figure CO has operating systems, has a leadership team, so you don't have to deal with a lot of people, has structure and planning within their business, and has good money management. That is what your focus should be on, and these are what your focus should be on. $1,000 an hour, $10,000 an hour. You want to focus on activities that are going to make you $1,000 or $10,000 an hour. Now, $1,000 activities are one-to-one with clients, hiring growth specialists that's going to grow your business to bigger sites, launching a converting campaign. Now, $10,000 an hour, creating and improving your irresistible offer. You're constantly improving your offer. I've improved my offer over 2 years. You need to constantly improve your offer and make it irresistible. Reducing the time to achieve ROI after onboarding. That should say onboarding there. So you need to make sure that your clients receive a return on investment as soon as they onboard, within the first week, within the first 2 weeks. You can see it on my Instagram. I get clients results within the first 2-3 weeks. This is what you need. You also need team calls for constant product service delivery improvements. Make sure that you're hopping on team calls all the time. This is a $10,000 an hour activity. Now, you shouldn't be focusing on the $10 an hour and the $100 an hour activities. These are things like editing videos. If you're still editing your own videos, what the fuck are you doing? You aren't a business owner. You aren't a business owner. You're a worker within your business. Mass outreach. This is a job for VAs. Scheduling content, or it kind of goes back to editing a video as well. Stop doing your own content. Stop doing your own outreach. Don't script ads. That's not your job. That's a job for someone else. You aren't a business owner if you do these activities. Stop setting your own appointments. Get an appointment setter and hire a sales closer. Now, that's not your job to hire a sales closer. That is a growth specialist's job. So let it be his job and don't do these activities. What would happen to your business if you took a holiday for 14 days? Now, really think about that. What would happen? If you went away for 14 days and you didn't touch your business, what would happen to it? Would you lose clients? Would you not get any new clients in? That's the question that you need to be asking yourself to see whether you have an effective business or not. Because most people don't understand what happens when they begin to use leverage and start outsourcing work and implementing systems. So back in 2023, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't see it. So you don't get into your car and then decide where you're going to drive, if that makes sense. You need a clear vision. Once you have a clear vision, you overcome the problem and you only see the goal. But on your own, it's hard to see the goal because it's hard to have a clear vision. You need to lock in. And if you don't know how to create a clear vision, then you need help. You need help. 1 year goal, live picture, action steps. That is what you need to have a clear vision. You need a 1 year goal. Make sure you know where you want to be in 1 year. You need a live picture. You need to know what's going to happen now. What are you going to do now? Picture yourself now. What are you going to do? And then you need clear action steps to get to that 1 year goal. This will create you a clear vision. Now, you probably know what you should be doing. You already know that. You know what you should be doing. You're just not doing it. And a big enough vision will show you that the current problems you're facing are absolutely minuscule in the bigger scale. So take a look at this here. Vision with strategy and speed in the right direction makes success. And when you partner vision with leverage and speed in the right direction, it creates success. Vision and leverage with strategy and speed create success. With this plus leverage, you'll be in a position to let the business run itself. And like I say here, that doesn't mean don't be involved. You need to be involved, but you need to make sure that you're focusing on these. You should be focusing on the $1,000 an hour and the $10,000 an hour activities, not on the stuff that you can hire other people to do, not on outreach, not on editing your videos. So that's what I mean by saying don't be involved in the business. You don't want to be involved in the shit that you can get other people to do that isn't making the most of your time as a business owner. So you need to think of the right model for your business. Like I say, it's very important, but it's inefficient if you don't know what to do. There are 3 metrics that you can follow. So model 1 is an evergreen course. Now, I'm not going to go through this too much, but pretty much an evergreen course is best for B2C markets, beginners, fitness, dropshipping, SMA, etc. So it's a B2B market idea, a front-end course to generate customers and then ultimately turn them into clients. It's not a great idea unless you're beyond 7 figures. So it's in-depth course material, 1 to 2 group coaching calls, a Discord, and a $500 to $3,000 price point for either lifetime access or 6 to 12 months access. Now, like I say, it's not great until you're beyond 7 figures and you have a one-on-one setup to turn them into one-on-one clients. But pretty much this is just a course model. Model 2, 8 to 16 week coaching intensive. So intensive coaching. The goal here is to have robust training curriculums, similar to the Evergreen course, and then add in coaching and support. So adding coaching and support with the systems for coaching. This model is more hands-on, and because the coaching culture is more proactive, the community will typically be more alive and vibrant instead of these shit prospects that you're going to get in the Evergreen course. Like I said, not going to go in it too much, so just take a look at those in-depth course material, and you also have sort of one-on-one onboarding calls and periodic one-on-one coaching. Now, this is the done for you / done with you hybrid. So this model assumes more of the risk because we're now responsible for delivering certain aspects of client results. Most clients that you onboard with a done for you will have lots of expectations. They'll have high expectations because it's you doing it, and they won't be the best. They won't be the best clients, to be quite honest. So done for you / done with you hybrid isn't my favorite model for a business, but yeah, they'll have a lot of expectations. So be prepared for that. Now, like I say, it can be a great way to charge more and ensure clients will get even better results, but poorly executed and you'll end up with a lot of disappointed clients and a really tarnished reputation. So you start by developing an excellent product by extension. Create the best product should be your number 1 goal. And like I said earlier, it took me 2 years to create the best product. Personalization, like a one-on-one, plus leverage, plus constant improvement, data, execution, feedback. Track your fucking data, guys. Track your data. If you aren't tracking and you own a business, no wonder you're not scaling. No wonder you're watching this video. Track what you do. Get feedback from your clients. This is the way that I managed to make 50K back end revenue, is by getting feedback from my clients. Now, the moment you can get feedback is the moment that you can scale, because you understand exactly what your next clients need. So why would you not get feedback? If you can understand how to take your client from here to here, and then the client says that they would be here if you did this, that's how you build the best product in the market. And then these two, partnered with good execution and fast execution, creates an excellent fucking product. If you don't know how to do this and how to create leverage and how to get constant improvement and how to track your data, give me a fucking message on Instagram. Give me a DM on Instagram, Bill_consulting, and I'll send you over my exact tracking sheet that I use for outreach, that I use for my ads. DM me, Bill Consulting, and ask for my tracking sheet. And that's how you build an excellent product. It's so simple to create an excellent product when you leverage labor and hire professionals. Here, you see a diagram. So, fulfillment. This is what we're talking about, is the fulfillment. You need good fulfillment. You need a good product. Once you have a good product, you get referrals. Referrals lead to sales. Once you have a good fulfillment, you get good case studies, good testimonials, which you can use within your front end marketing. I use my referrals to get sales all the time. Half my clients come from referrals. And I also use my case studies and my testimonials in my marketing. It's all over my Instagram. All my highlights are case studies. And I have a pinned reel from one of my clients, Achidi, who is absolutely stunned by the work that we do and the results that we've got him. Now, a good fulfillment also increases lifetime value. So when you have good fulfillment, the sales that you get, the lifetime value goes up because you're going to upsell those clients. Once you have a good fulfillment, you've made a client 50K per month. You think they're not going to buy the next thing to get them to 500K per month? Of course they are, because they completely trust you, because you've made them 50K per month. That's the lifetime value, and that increases. Now, you also get success stories and results, which again, you can use to leverage in your front end, in your marketing. This diagram proves that we need good fulfillment, which if you haven't had over 20 high ticket clients, I'll be honest, guys, you don't know how to build a good fulfillment. So let me know, booking a call. Let me know that the reason for booking the call is because you want to build a good fulfillment, and I'll help you out with that. Build shit, create content, and build a fucking brand. This is what we need to do. You need to build shit. You need to create content, and you need to build a brand. This is why marketing agencies are so fluctuated. This is why marketing agencies go from 4K to 50K to 2K to 12K to 1K, because they don't build a brand. They leverage a logo. We leverage a brand, a personal brand. This is why we need to build stuff. Compelling vision creates clarity. With clarity, you get a strategic plan. You need to have clarity. So once you know your next step, you need to get there as fast as possible. And for that, you need leverage. Leverage creates speed. Leverage is the ability to do more with less. If you're not using leverage in 2025, you will not get wealthy. Rich maybe, but not wealthy. And what I mean by that is you might get a lot of money by not using leverage, but you will not be wealthy. You will not have time. You will not have freedom. Use leverage to build wealth, not to get rich. So, for example, this is what happens when you leverage a sales team. Your close rate will go up 5%, minimum 5%, if not 25%, because closers are better than you at closing. My closers are better than me at closing. And you'll also increase your revenue 50%. Now, you'd be stupid not to give out 5% of your business to increase your close rate by 5% minimum and increase your revenue by 50% because you're making more money. So why would you not give out a piece of the pie? Why would you not delegate to a closer? People are scared to delegate. Don't be scared to delegate. Give out a piece of the pie. This is what needs to happen in order to grow. We need to give out a piece of the pie. Now, what would happen if you did the same with acquisition, conversion, and fulfillment? Delegate that instead of just the sales. Now, with acquisition, use 5-hour VAs, a DM bot, content, referrals, ads. All these things are something that you can delegate. So 5-hour VAs can be in charge of the content, be in charge of the ads, be in charge of the DM bot. This can all be run completely for you and you don't have to touch it. Conversion, IG stories. Hire a content manager to do the stories. Hiring setters and closers to close the calls for you. Hiring content managers to do your YouTube. And fulfillment. Hire success managers to fulfill for your clients. Hire growth specialists and make sure that you have systems and infrastructures. Now, I like to be involved in the fulfillment. Even though success managers and growth specialists are amazing, I like to personally take care of my clients because I know what I'm talking about. I know I can help you grow, but all this shit you don't need to touch or look at. Maybe solve a problem here and there. But once you have VAs that can solve problems on their own, that's when you have A players within your business. So make sure that you do the same with this and make sure that you use leverage within these systems. And these processes will take you to 100K per month, without a doubt. So when you build the right systems and surround yourself with the right people, with the A players, you take away 70% of the headache you are having. Focus on building the right operation. Optimize for simplicity. Running a couple very streamlined acquisition sources and scale it the fuck up. Scale it up. That's all you need. Very simple, very streamlined acquisition sources. Simplicity scales. I've said this before. Simplicity scales. People try make all their acquisition sources really fucking complex. You don't need that. Be simple and scale it up. So here's what would happen if you 2 to 3x your prices. People are scared to up their prices. This is how you grow, guys. This is how you grow. So for the prospect, if you 2 to 3x your prices, emotional investment increases. They're more emotionally invested now that your product is more expensive because they're investing more into it and they want to get results more. If you charge 2K for your product, then your prospect isn't going to be as invested. So charge 8K. Perceived value increases. Again, if you charge a low price, if you charge 2K, then the prospect doesn't think that you're going to get them where they want. So if you charge 8K, the value, the perceived value of your offer increases in their eyes. And then they listen to you. And that's what you need in order to scale them, is you need a prospect that's going to listen and is going to implement your advice. Expected results increase. When you work with a prospect and you charge a high amount, their expected results increase. Of course they do, because you're charging more money than this person, so they expect you to be better than that person. That's a good thing, believe it or not, because we know we can get the fucking results, and that is why we charge high, because I know I can get the results, so I'll charge you what I'm worth. But you're not going to go with that shit coach because you know that they can't get you the results. You know that I can. So you're going to pay the extra money because your expected results increase and the demand decreases. So you have to be well aware that the higher your prices are, the less clients you're going to work with. This is a fucking good thing, guys, because you don't want a low ticket offer with 30 plus clients. You want a high ticket offer with 8 high quality clients. And for yourself, the profit per client increases. Instead of doing the exact same service for 2K, you're doing it for 8K and you're making 6K more profit. The amount of resources to provide better fulfillment increases. You have more money, so you can put more money into more resources to get better fulfillment for your clients. This is what I've done. I've dumped a lot of the money that I've made into my fulfillment, into increasing my results for my clients. And this is why I've built such a good fucking product, because I have the money and I have the resources to improve my fulfillment. Conviction when selling increases. Now, ignore this one because something's gone wrong with my typing there. But conviction when selling increases. Now, when you're selling and you have a higher price, your conviction fucking is the highest it can be, because I have what you want. If you're watching this video and we're 18 fucking minutes in, I have what you want. I have what you want. And that's the reason you're watching this video, because you know that I can help you and you know that I can get you to where you want to be. And you know that I know what I'm fucking talking about. And that's why when we hop on a sales call, my conviction is going to be super high because I know that you want what I'm selling. So it improves your conviction when selling. You start attracting people who make value based decisions rather than price based decisions. Fuck the price. We want to target people that think fuck the price. We want to target high end business owners or high end clients that are going to pay you based on the value and based on what you provide, not based on how much your product is. And this happens when you increase your prices. When you have low prices, you attract a bad clientele. You attract a bad bunch of prospects because they are going for your option because it's the cheaper option. When you have the more expensive option, you attract those high quality prospects that aren't choosing based on price because otherwise they go with the shit cheaper one. They're choosing based on value. And because the more expensive one has more value, they're going for the more expensive one. Because who gives a fuck about the price? It's about what it's going to get you. So, rich potential clients are looking for options, quality, and speed. Don't have offers such as, if we don't book you 3 calls a day, then we'll pay you $100. Instead, attract 20% of the market, but they're the easier to work with clients, and then make more money working less. We don't need to attract 80% of the market if the 20% that we attract is the best part of the market. So attract that 20%. Low prices attract broke clients who are also a pain in the ass to work with. So don't have low prices. Up your prices, 2x them, 3x them. High prices, higher quality clients, more profit, best results. Low prices, very low quality clients, less profit, terrible results. And when you don't get good results, you can't get high quality clients. Don't copy everyone else. Otherwise, you'll end up like them. Don't come into the market. When people craft a new offer, they come into the market and they think, he's charging that, I need to charge a little bit less than that to remain competitive. Don't do that. Don't look at the marketplace, see what the competitors offer, and go slightly below to stay competitive. Don't do that. That's what 99% of the market does. And that's why their businesses aren't successful. And this is why yours is going to be successful, because you're going to look at the marketplace. You're going to see what your competitors offer. And you're going to ask for 2 to 3x the price. And then you're also going to provide the customers with more value than the competition. And then you end up earning a lot more for only a little more. Whereas otherwise, you'll provide the customers with a little more than the competition, and you end up earning less for giving more. Now, this is the $1 million question, and it's time for the $1 million question. How do you double or triple your prices without looking like a scammer? How do you compete with people while doubling or tripling your prices? You need to figure out a way to make your solution be perceived as more valuable than your competitor. So the potential client thinks there has to be something different going on. Value equation. Make that outcome as big as possible, the likelihood as high as possible, while keeping the time delay, effort, and sacrifice as low as possible. What I mean by this is make that outcome that you're going to achieve as big as possible. I'll scale you to 50k per month. That's a big outcome. And I also make the likelihood as high as possible with my case studies and with my content and with my systems, while keeping the time delay, effort, and sacrifice as low as possible. Keep the time delay as low as possible. What do I mean by that? I mean, you need to make sure that as soon as someone onboards, the time from them onboarding and them seeing results is as short as physically possible. Keep the effort as low as possible. We don't want our clients to be working really fucking hard. Keep the effort low. Put systems in place for them. And keep the sacrifice as low as possible. Make it so that they don't have to sacrifice everything within their business to work with you. And this is exactly how you can double or triple your prices without looking like a scammer. Leverage this message if you run a high ticket offer and you don't have enough money to pay the rent tomorrow. So leverage this messaging. Please leverage this message. You either sell a product, physical product, gym equipment, a digital product, ebook, or a service, physical, getting a haircut. Digital is a done for you service or a done with you service. Or you sell access. Physical can be access to concerts, concert tickets, or the digital could be a school community. Now, the power of this is that you want to sell a service in combination with access. People buy my products because of me. People like to work with me. You can't get here without my help. Well, yeah, like I say, you can, but with a load of inefficiencies and pain. It would take so much time and so much pain and so much headache to get there without my help. So do it now. Why wouldn't you take action? Because you're scared. If you're scared, get a mentor that helps you remove the limiting belief. You don't know how to make content. Get a mentor that understands how to make the best content. You're struggling to book appointments consistently. Get a mentor that has done that and can do that again for you. I'd like to give you the option to directly implement my advice and reflect on it on your own business. I want you to imagine you're holding a magic wand, a wand which can solve any problem in your business. What's your first wish? What's your number one wish and your only wish that you have with the wand? To have an appointment schedule that doesn't look like a ghost town. You want it packed with 3 to 5 appointments a day. To have the best in the market in terms of VAs, setters, closers, success managers, growth specialists, or to have a fulfillment structure that makes your client feel like they've received an ROI after the first onboarding call. You want your client to receive an ROI after the first onboarding call. Once they've hopped on that first call with you, they think, fuck, I'm so glad I paid all this money. Do you want the best VAs and the success managers and the closers who do all the heavy lifting for you? Or do you want 3 to 5 appointments per day? Or do you want all of them, regardless of the wish? You need a clear vision to be able to take the right action steps to make that wish a reality. Because here's the hard truth. There are only 3 ways your business can shape after watching this video. You either ignore my advice and continue doing what you were doing. You either implement my advice and try everything on your own and just hope for the best. Or you can schedule a call with me, schedule a chat with me below, and we'll see how long it would take us to scale your high ticket offer to 50K per month. But if you're still on the fence and wondering if we'd be able to give you that magic wand that you need to solve the problems in your business, drop me a DM on IG, Bill_consulting, and I'll show you a testimonial from someone that I've worked with who's in your industry and started at the exact same point as you. Or just book a call with me. Book a call with me, it'll be super fucking easy. Because if you've been watching this video after 27, 28 minutes, however fucking long it's been, you need help. And that's the reason you've been watching this video. So these are the action steps after. Are you going to ignore my advice, continue doing what you're doing and stay where you are? Are you going to try to implement my advice, but do everything on your own and you don't really know how to implement it? Or just schedule a chat, just booking a call in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the call or on my Instagram. Any questions you have, drop them on the Instagram. See you soon. Keep eyes out for the next one. Subscribe, turn notifications on. Thanks for watching.